food security should never be something someone is worried about. And there are a lot of people in our community that is a factor. It'll come down to pay rent or get your groceries. And that shouldn't be something anyone has to think about.
Well, welcome to the Carla Rand Show, and I'm excited today because I have Jacey and Sheryl on with me, and you both are from the food bank. So, Jacey, can you tell us first a little bit about yourself? What kind of tell us about yourself, and then what got you into working with the Edson Food Bank?
My name is Jacey, and I've lived in Edson for just about 10 years now, but I became involved with the food bank in 2018 when my youngest started school, and I had a little bit of time. I wasn't needed at home all the time with small kids, and I wanted to do something that gave back to this new community I had moved to. So that's how I started. I got in contact with the board and asked what I could do. I was brought in as a volunteer to help on the Tuesday mornings, and it worked out to 1 week every month, and it was something I really looked forward to. So I asked if there was something I could do to come in a little more often, and it kind of just branched off from there. In last year, I stepped into a role that is quite a bit more involved, and so I'm here quite a bit now, which I love. And yeah, that's what I do now.
Yeah, and I had such a good conversation with you, Jason. We were chatting on the phone, and I was just like, I could talk to this girl all day about kids and family and work and community involvement and all the rest of it. So it was really good. I felt after, I'm like, man, I totally connect with that gal. And Sheryl, I had such a good talk with you too when you first reached out to me, and we had a long chat, and it was so good to kind of hear your heart and hear like your excitement about the food bank and a little bit about your life. So why don't you share just a little bit of that with our listeners as well? So tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what got you involved in the food bank.
My name is Sheryl, and I am the secretary. I moved to Edson in 2014. So new community, retired, left the city, came here, needed to find a way to connect with people in the community. So started volunteering at a few different places around town. The food bank kind of was the organization that really seemed to welcome me and needed some of my areas of expertise, which, would be secretarial type things. And yeah, I've been here ever since, and it's a great group, and we do lots of community stuff, and we really move forward every year with new things, new programs, new incentives.
Yeah, and thank you for what you guys do, because the food bank is a huge deal in the Edson area. I think most people know about it, and a lot of people are benefiting from it. And for those who listen, you won't be able to see, but for those who are watching this, like on YouTube or Facebook, you're going to see in the background, it looks like a really nice facility for the food bank. You guys have shelves. They look like there's actually quite a bit of food there. It almost looks like a mini Costco from here. So tell me about the new location here, Jacey. It looks really nice.
Earlier this spring, we were able to move forward with some much needed renovations in the building. It's wide open now with the shelving, but prior to this, we had quite a few rooms from what the building was used for in its other lives as a RCMP station. At one point, it was a daycare. We made do with the room we had, the space we had, but since having the renovations, it's been so much better. The volunteers are able to move around a lot better, a lot easier. Not as much heavy lifting in and out of the rooms. We can use carts, we have space, and it's lighter, it's brighter. We were able to put in some new light fixtures, LED, and it feels a lot better now. I remember it was maybe the silver lining of COVID for us.
Getting that set up. Yeah. Well, I remember going to the old building, and I mean, it served its purpose. I remember seeing what it looked like, but it definitely wasn't ideal. And this looks so much more ideal, much brighter, more space, like you say. So that's good. Can you tell us, whichever one wants to go first, can you tell us, how did the Edson Food Bank come about?
So we were started in 1985 by a group of retired people, mostly ladies, is the way the story goes. They just saw a need in the community, and they put forth lots of time and energy to get it going. And ever since then, it's still run by only volunteers. Yeah.
And only part of this building, I think, at a time, correct me.
Yeah.
And so the building, when the food bank first started up, it was one section of the building. And then over time, another room would be adopted, and then another room as it grew bigger and more space was required, until essentially we have the entire main floor here. We have access to the basement, which we will store some things in, but generally this top area is entirely food bank use.
Cool. So what's so important about the Edson Food Bank? Why does it need to exist, or why does it exist? What like, how is it helping our community?
Oh, food security. I don't know if it is as well known, but food security should never be something someone is worried about. And there are a lot of people in our community that is a factor. It'll come down to pay rent or get your groceries. And that shouldn't be something anyone has to think about. So the need was always there. It needed to be put into motion, and it just grew. More people joined up to help. The word got out, more people in need attended, and it just kept growing. I don't know if there will ever be a time that it's not needed in some capacity.
Thank you. It'd be nice if you could say, oh, we don't need a food bank. But the reality is, like you said, you don't want people to have to worry so much about their food, and to be able to have an option so that we can at least make sure that everybody's eating is
absolutely
really, really good. Is there anything you would add to that, Sheryl? Any other reason? Like, why does the food bank exist? What does it do for our community?
I don't think I'd add anything, but I will throw out a statistic for you. In 2021, so from January 1st to present day, we've handed out 1,423 hampers.
Mm.
So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. For a small community too, right? We're not talking like a big city here. Yeah. So who gets the hampers?
Anyone that needs one. We are very fortunate to be able to operate in a way that does not have to be so tight. We don't ask people what their finance status is. It does not matter what part of town they live in, what they do, if they're working or not working. Anybody, if you need it, you can get a hamper. Mm. And we do see all walks of life here. Like, I think there might be a little bit of a stereotype of who would need a food bank. It's all kinds, especially with the most recent hardships with COVID, job loss. I don't think anybody anticipates not being able to pay bills. And it can really throw off a household, especially if only one parent's working. So it's available to anyone.
Yeah, and that's so good, because I think that, you're right. Sometimes there are stereotypes about what kind of person would go in there or this or that. But I think it's like, if you are in need. And so I think also for our listeners, just to have awareness, if you are from Edson, or maybe you're from another community that has a food bank, know that it is open to you as well. So how does it run? Because, as a businesswoman, I'm thinking, and I mean, I kind of know because I've talked to you guys, but let's share this with our listeners. As a businesswoman, you're thinking, this is going to take a little bit of cash. You're going to have to get the food. You're going to have to make sure you have the right type of food, that it's available when it's needed, that it's not going to expire. You need like a facility, and the people that work. I think all of you guys that work are mainly volunteers. Is that correct?
We're 100% volunteers. Yeah.
So how does it run? Where do you get the food from, the money from?
So a lot of our funding is through community support, a lot, and that is supplemented through government grants for sure. And between the two, it's what keeps us running as well as we are able to make the hampers the size that we are able to make them.
Well, I know even like around like different events you go to, it often says, oh, donation to the food bank. I know I've done that at some of my events, something similar, right? And I think a lot of people, it's like, oh, and even at the schools, I know like where my kids go to school, often it's like, oh, this week we're going to do a food bank donation or whatever. So I think there's so much awareness in the community. So whether it's obviously it's a result of you, the people that came before you, but there's definitely a lot of people know about it. And it seems like you're saying a lot of people are supporting it. And I mean, thank God they are, because you need that support. You need that funding. And it sounds like you're getting it. And, that's so wonderful. I mean, so thankful to the people in Edson that are doing that, the awareness and then the donations and the volunteers.
Our two main things we need would be the funding and the volunteers. And if either is not in existence for us, we can't operate.
So tell me, what do you think is going really well with the food bank right now? Like, what do you just like, this is really going well?
Right now, we're kind of just coasting. It's pretty smooth running. Little blips with some volunteers, just with everything. COVID, but also not, like lifestyle changes, job changes.
People moving away.
Absolutely. We see dips, people stepping away for a bit, coming back, seasonal. But for day to day, well, more so week to week, we're open every week. It's quite smooth. I can't think of anything other than just trying to juggle enough volunteers here and there for the pickups.
So would that be your biggest struggle maybe right now? Like, or one of the obstacles is just having enough volunteers at the right time?
Can be, for sure. Yeah, we definitely have some weeks that are quite a bit thinner, and it's more so we try to balance it out that we have the volunteers coming so that nobody's getting burned out, especially the board members. We're all here on floor quite a bit, and finding that balance to have enough so that nobody has to be here all the time, because it is volunteer and it's a lot of work. And a lot of us, some of the board members are juggling jobs, young families, and just other interests in general. So we want to do this and give back, but at the same time, nobody can live here. So just that constant balance of having enough people that can donate a bit of time here and there and keep that consistent.
Because you don't want the board members and everybody involved to burn out and just be like, okay, enough of this. I think that's
everybody.
Yeah. It's true of like any volunteer position, or even if it's not a volunteer position, but especially if it's a volunteer position. You don't want to be burning out your volunteers, right? You want to spread it out. Yeah.
Keep it enjoyable. And it is. It's enjoyable. But when you feel like you can't say no, something's got to change, right? It has to stay the spirit of giving and not that feel of, if I don't go, no one else will. So we've been able to avoid that, I think, and just keeping that balance that the volunteers are happy and we have smooth sailing. And it has been little bit here and there. It's an ongoing.
So if somebody wants to, like, maybe they need the food bank, okay, what do they do? What's the first thing they should do if they're like, I need some food for maybe my family, myself? How do they get it?
We have a few options to contact us. Sheryl mans our Facebook page, and sometimes she'll often actually get messages inquiring about it there. She'll pass on to the leads. And we have two phone numbers. One is more the informational line, and the other would be for appointments to call and just say, just as simple as that, hey, I need a hamper. What do I need to do? And there are currently 3 of us that take turns manning the appointments line, 3 to 4, depending on the week, to organize the next open day. And it's just booking them in so that we know who's coming and get the hampers made up and ready for pickup. Alternately, if the appointments don't work, because not everybody can make an appointment, we still welcome walk-ins. They can come between the open hours at any time between them and collect a hamper that way too. It's pretty simple. I guess the biggest challenge for clients might be how to get that hamper home. They're quite large right now. So that might be the biggest thing, is sometimes clients can't get here. Mobility issues, various reasons. So maybe just to get the hamper to them. But contacting us to get a hamper, easy.
Okay, so
yeah, give us a call.
So when we're done, can you send me, well, can you just say the phone numbers right now and website, whatever, or Facebook page, whatever, so that anybody who's listening can write this down? And then if you would also message it to me when we're done this, and then we can make sure that it's in the notes. So what are the numbers?
The main info line has, I think it's been the same one it has since the food bank started up, is 780-723-1350. To make an appointment or anything to do with hamper pickup, you'll want to call 780-725-3185. And on Facebook, you can search Edson Food Bank Society, and that'll pop the page right up. And Sheryl she mans it and would probably respond within the hour. It's quite quick responses.
Good for you guys. Yeah, it's like you're running this business, but with volunteers and managing funds and managing volunteers and all of that, it must be a lot of work. What else do you guys want to talk about? Is there anything that we've kind of missed that you'd really like to share with our listeners about the food bank?
I guess just to send that message again and really kind of get it out there that we are so appreciative of the support that we have seen. We know it's been hard. It has been a rough are we into month 20 now since COVID? And there has been so much change. I can't believe the support we have received despite that. We are so appreciative. Like I said, if we didn't have the funding and the volunteers, we just would not be able to help as many households that we can. So that's probably the only thing I really wanted to add.
I don't really know.
It's kind of, it kind of doesn't change. We're just thankful. Yeah, we're just so thankful, and yeah, always welcoming. If anybody is interested in donating a little time, contact us. We'd love to give a tour. We were not able to do an open house after the renovations. Just again, we were trying to keep a little closed up, just with the restrictions and everything, keep everybody safe. But we're happy to do individual tours if someone's interested to come in and donate a little bit of time. We could always use some good volunteers.
Good. Well, thank you, ladies. Oh, go ahead, Sheryl.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think a lot of people don't really understand what we do until you step into the building and have a tour, because it's really phenomenal. Because we are so supported, we're so able to give so many wonderful things in our hampers that possibly other communities can't. We try to provide lots of fresh fruit and vegetables and meat. So to provide that nutritional type of hamper, we're very lucky. In the last year, we've started buying like laundry soap and shampoo and liquid dish soap. So, just things like that because we are so supported, we're able to include in our hampers. And I think if, people who are interested in knowing what we're doing, we're very, very open to showing people. We did have a company also in Edson reach out recently called Click Solutions. They did a virtual tour of our food bank. We just posted that on our Facebook page yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just so awesome, right? So anybody who has any interest can click on that on the Facebook page and have a little virtual tour and see, what our facility is all about.
Cool. Good. Well, thank you so much, Jacey. Thank you so much, Sheryl, for sharing with us, for the work that you do, for reaching out and being on my podcast, because I think a lot of people need to hear about the Edson Food Bank, but also in their communities, there's food banks, and there's ways that we can volunteer. There's ways that we can support, whether with donations, with time, just with awareness. So thank you for being on here, ladies. I really appreciate it. And keep up the good work.
Thank you for tuning into the podcast today. I absolutely love that you joined us. I love being able to record these, and I love our guests. It's been so much fun. So thank you. Please like it, share it, comment, do all of the things that you feel like you want to do if you enjoyed this podcast. I really, really appreciate that. And this podcast has been brought to you by my company, Power Fitness Online. So everything that we do locally with our workouts, with our group nutrition coaching, and with all of the other fun events and stuff that we run, we put all of that online. So now you can access everything, even if you're not locally, don't live in our area. So my coaches and I and all my staff, the whole team, we are putting so much work into these workouts. We're filming 5 fresh workouts every single week so that you never have to do the same workout twice. We're also doing group nutrition and personal nutrition coaching so that you get exactly what you need. And you know what the best part is? It's the community. The absolute best part is just knowing that you have the support, that you have the encouragement, that you have everything you need to succeed. So go to powerfitnessonline.com.